أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
Moving near the recital of Moulana Syed Muhammad Aqib Jaffry, and he will recite a short poem salam which you Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Bismillah.
We are Hussaini, Hussaini, Hussaini. We are Abbasi and Zainabi. We wish to be like great Akbar who called Adhan Ashura Day. He prayed on time, and when he died, the light of Imam wilted away. We wish to be like mighty Abbas, whose mission was to get water. He gave his arms in service, fulfilling Hajat forever. We are Hussaini, Hussaini, Hussaini. We are Abbasi and Zainabi. We wish to be like baby Asghar, who showed ages just a number. We are Hussaini, Hussaini, Hussaini. We are Abbasi and Zainabi. We wish to be like great Akbar, who called Adan Ashura Day. He prayed on time, and when he died, the light of Imam wilted away. We wish to be like mighty Abbas, whose mission was to get water. He prayed on time. He gave his arms in service, fulfilling Hajat forever. We wish to be like baby Asghar, who showed age is just a number. He fought in purely Allah's way and was killed without any water.
Loud salawat for 8th Muharram-1448 Jaffry. हमारे दीगर सलावात MashaAllah, the messages in that poem were very poignant, spot on. May Allah help us see more of our children come forward and recite, and of course this zikr will continue. But it is our privilege that our children are part of this. I will now request Sayyid Ali and Sayyid Abdullah Jaffari to come and recite a salam in honor of Imam Hussain and his companions. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بار دیگر بلندتر صلوات. From the heart till we live, we will say, Ya Hussain. From the heart till we live, we will say, Ya Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain. We are Ansar-e Hussaini, we will not leave Al-Hussain. We are Ansar-e Hussaini, we will not leave Al-Hussain. Even if you burn our bodies, even if you burn our bodies, if you cut our every vein, from the heart till we live, we will say, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain. Run to Kufa, Ashkiya said, when they saw Al-Zulfiqar. Run to Kufa, Ashkiya said, when they saw Al-Zulfiqar. In the hand of Ibn Haydar, in the hand of Ibn Haydar, Fatih Badru Hunain. From the heart till we live, we will say, Ya Hussain.
Everyone together.
Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain. Mawla whispered, Inna lillah, but ilayhi raji'un. Mawla whispered, Inna lillah, but ilayhi raji'un. We are for Allah and unto, we are for Allah and unto Him we must return again. From the heart till we live, we will say, Ya Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain. Asre Ashura, a voice reaches our wounded Imam. Asre Ashura, a voice reaches our wounded Imam. Come to me and Sakiye, come to me and Sakiye, go. Tishna Nur-e-Ain. From the heart till we live, we will say, Ya Hussain.
Everyone.
Ya Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain. O corrupt historian trying to hush up Karbala, O corrupt historian trying to hush up Karbala, can your pen silence the echo? Can your pen silence the echo of the shackle and the chain? From the heart till we live, we will say, Ya Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain. O Hussaini, give your passion the Kaaba of intellect. O Hussaini, give your passion the Kaaba of intellect. Karbala is inspiration, Karbala is inspiration for the heart and for the brain. From the heart till we live, we will say, Ya Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Mu'mineen, a few announcements before I ask Moulana to take the minbar. For parents with young children, we have arrangements on the second floor, which is this level. There are fans, there is open space, and there is a screen and sound system. We will request your cooperation in the matter so that the majlis in the auditorium is not disrupted. In terms of logistics for seating, because this is becoming a packed hall pretty quickly, can I ask all kids younger than 12 or younger to leave their seats and come down in this area in front? It's a clean area to sit, so all kids 12 or younger should come down and please either sit on the stairs or on the sides here. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. जितने बच्चे 12 साल और उससे नीचे हैं, अगर वो अपनी कुर्सियां काइंडली छोड़ दें और यहाँ साइड पे बैठ जाएं या फिर नीचे बैठ जाएं. सल्लु अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद. I still see kids who are young kids still sitting in the chairs. I would request them to kindly vacate their seats in the interest of the elderly people who will be coming in later. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The kids over there, thank you. And also please do not block this staircase because there will be people who will come in and so they will need the space to pass. Thank you. There will be a short question and answer session after the matam where you can ask your question from the floor, but also you can pose your question anonymously on slido.com. The code is Muharram 2026. MUHARRAM 2026, no spaces. Please do switch your cell phones off and turn off any alarms. We had a couple of disruptions in the previous days and it would be good to avoid them. There is an extensive collection of Islamic books, including for children and the youth, that are not easily available in Pakistan. Please do avail yourselves of them. They are being offered at a final 50% discount from the purchase price today and tomorrow. There will be a majlis tomorrow, the final majlis of this 9 majlis series. There will not be a majlis on the 10th of Muharram. There will be 2 majalis on the 11th and 12th of Muharram. That will be recited by Sheikh Ali Mahsumi. They will be held in this auditorium and the timings will be exactly the same as of this majlis. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Mu'mineen and Mu'minat, as you know, Moulana Syed Aqib Jaffry, our respected speaker, has been emphasizing the importance of benefiting from the Quran, and he has himself pioneered online courses to facilitate the understanding of Quranic Arabic. And he has organized courses that can be delivered online under the banner of Tibyan Academy, and the initial results from these courses that have been conducted have been very powerful. Even after a month, young kids and even adults have been able to understand the Quran in Arabic as they read it. These courses are available in both English and Urdu and for adults and youth as well. They are conducted online and you can register to join on the Tibyan Academy Mafahim. There's a WhatsApp announcements group but the link for that is available on the website of Tibyan Academy. The web address is simply Tibyan, Tibyan -academy.pk. So if you go to Tibyan-academy.pk, you can register for these courses. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Also, if you would like to have follow-up questions, sessions for questions, or want to discuss issues in a private setting with the Maulana, you can make an appointment by talking to Brother Junaid, who sits in the office on the ground floor. You see the glass walls, the office is behind it. Maulana is available to do this on Monday, the coming Monday. Time is 4 to 6 p.m. and he can meet with you individually and discuss any specific issues that you have. There is a blood drive on the ground level clinic of this building that is being organized by Who is Hussain in collaboration with the Fadimid organization. So please do generously donate your blood for the cause of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Today's majlis is sponsored by my sister Sayyida Sadaf Abbas, who has asked that the Isal-e-Sawab of this majlis be dedicated for the Shuhada of Iran, especially Rahbar-e Muazzam Sayyid Ali Khamenei, and for our father Sayyid Tajammul Abbas Shaheed, for Sayyid Qamar Ali Shah, and for Sayyid Sajjad Rizvi. Please recite a Surah Fatiha for these souls. There are some elderly people who are coming and they will need seats. So if the younger ones can kindly vacate their seats, it will be appreciated so that the elderly people don't have to sit on the ground. Jazakallah beta. Others are also encouraged to please show courtesy as and when the need arises. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Mu'mineen, there is also a request from my sister and I to recite a salawat for the longevity and health of our mother, Mrs. Iffat Shah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad jal farajahum. I will now request Moulana Syed Ali Aqib Jaffry to come and recite the 8th Majlis on the topic of Basira, spiritual insight, the need of the hour. Please welcome him with the loudest of salawats. Bharat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب قلوبنا بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الغر الميامين المعصومين من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وخطابه المتين وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني صلوات صل على This Majlis being dedicated in honor of our dear Rahbar, a person who was full of basira, who had insight, who knew his time, who knew the issues pertinent to his time, who knew how to handle them, how to solve them, and had the insight to do the tarbiyah of a nation that when the time comes, they were ready to stand up against oppression. He made sure that that happened. And anything less than shahadat would not have been fair to him. The minimum price that he deserved in this dunya for all of his efforts was martyrdom. He deserved it. I remember in one of the speeches in the month of Ramadan, Ayatollah Nasir Muqarrem, may Allah protect him and give him a long life, he said that a youth had come to me and asked me to pray that Allah gives me martyrdom. And he said, I said to him, pray that Allah gives you a long life where you use your life to serve the religion of Allah, and at the end of your life you're blessed with martyrdom. And then he said, no, but that youth said that, but martyrdom in the prime of your youth is different. So our Rahbar was one such personality whose life was used in the service of Islam, and in the final moments he was blessed with martyrdom, which in return again watered the tree of resistance and made it even more stronger. This is what a person of basira would do. Basirat is something you need in order to lead a country, an organization, an institution, a mosque, your own household. Basira is something you need in order to steer your direction towards your destination. The spiritual journey that we all have to undertake. And this basira is gained through different things. There are different factors that engender basira in all of us. One of those we have talked about in the previous sessions is disconnecting ourselves from this dunya. It does not mean not having the dunya with you, it means not associating yourself with dunya, not loving this dunya. Another example that can be given, I'm giving all of these examples because if these examples are not understood clearly, one can get deviated Islam does not have a problem with you having money in your pocket. It should not be in your heart. As long as it is in your pocket, it is fine. But if it comes to your heart, enters your heart, then it becomes an issue. Another famous saying of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. He says, Man absara biha, talking about the dunya, man absara biha basarathu, whoever sees using the dunya, it will grant it basira, it will grant it insight. وَمَنْ أَبْصَرَ إِلَيْهَا, whoever looks at the dunya, whoever makes dunya his goal, أَعْمَتْهُ, it will blind it. Looking at the dunya will blind you. Just like a torch, if you look at the torch, it will blind you. But if you use the torch to find the way, it will guide you. Dunya, even though dunya, one of the names of dunya is the Darul Ghurur, it deceives. But it has been very clear, it is not deceiving by deception. You see your loved ones leave this dunya one after the other. You see sickness in this world, and yet we have forgotten this dunya. It is not this dunya that has deceived us. It is our attachment to this dunya that is the source of the deception. So there's no need to blame this dunya. We have to blame ourselves. A person came to Amir al-Mu'mineen with 4 questions. He said, I have 4 questions to ask. The Imam responded, ask even if you have 40. And he responded with certain questions. Number 1, what is wajib? And what is even more wajib? What is wajib? What is more wajib? What is distant? And what is even more distant? What is strange? And what is even more strange? Or what is stranger? And the final question, what is difficult? And what is more difficult? 4 questions again. The Imam responded, it is wajib to obey Allah. Ata'at of Allah is wajib. But more wajib than that is staying away from sins. Staying away from sins. Any journey that one undertakes towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts by first getting rid of the sins from our existence. Sins are like holes in your bucket. If you have a hole in your bucket, a couple of holes, and you put the bucket under water, it will never get full. All of what comes in will flow out. So ata'at of Allah is like filling the bucket, and sins are like holes in that bucket. So any journey that one undertakes towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts with first getting rid of sins. And you must all know when the Imam asked the Holy Prophet that famous question in the month of Ramadan, what is the best amal? Ayyul a'mal afzal fi hadha shahr al-azim. What is the best action in this holy month? What did the Holy Prophet reply? Al-wara an maharimillah. He did not say reading the Quran or doing good deeds or reading salat and nawafil and all of that. He said al-wara an maharimillah, staying away from the haram acts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the best of the deeds. That is the starting point of every journey towards Allah. The second question, what is far and what is even farther than that? What is qareeb? Let me correct it. What is qareeb and what is qareeb tar? That was the second question. I misquoted it initially. What is qareeb and what is qareeb tar? What is more nearer? He said Qiyamat is near. The Holy Quran says Qiyamat is near, but death is nearer than that. Maut usse bhi qareeb hai. Then is the third question, what is strange and what is stranger? Ajeeb kya hai aur ajeeb tar kya hai? He said, this dunya is ajib, this world is strange. Look at what it does. It can take a servant of Allah from the lows of the well and make him the king of Egypt. And it can take the pharaohs of its time and drown it in the river of Nile. This world is ajib, is strange. And even stranger than this is getting attached and loving this dunya. This is more strange. The stranger is more ajib. In the final statement, what is difficult? He said, entering the grave is a difficult station. And even more difficult than that is entering the grave without any preparation. Without any preparation. So it requires basira to prepare for the hereafter. There is this story that a king once asked his ministers to go and find him a foolish person so that he could be given the crown of foolishness and stupidity. So they went and they saw one person who apparently was not sane, but not to the extent that he was insane completely, but they thought that this is the most foolish person in this kingdom, so they brought him to the king. The king was crowned with gold, and they gave a fake gold crown and they put it on him. And he got excited. He said, why am I getting this crown? And the minister said, because you have been identified as the most foolish person in this kingdom. And then he looked at the king and said, you're also wearing a crown. He said, this is the crown of being the king. He said, what benefits do you have? He said, I control everything in this dunya. This kingdom, everything is under my control. I have so much power. He said, then what will happen eventually? He said, I will die. He said, then what will happen? He said, I will move on to the next world. He said, have you prepared anything for the next world? He said, no. He took off his crown and he said, you deserve this more than me. You deserve this more than me. So in this dunya, we have been sent in this dunya to protect the hereafter. To make our hereafter, not to live in this dunya and take this dunya as our final abode. And those who are people of the hereafter, like Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, Imam Al-Mohammadi, Salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. They are men of the hereafter. If you fight with them, if you endanger them, if you hurt them, you can only hurt their dunya. But in return, you will damage your hereafter. Yazid was able to destroy Imam's dunya only. The maximum Yazid could do was to kill the Imam. But the Imam being a person of the hereafter, as a result, Yazid was deprived of the hereafter. So do not entangle yourselves with people of the hereafter. Allah loves them, and your entangling with them will result in you destroying your own hereafter. This is the power that people of the hereafter hold with them. Another agent that generates basira in all of us is knowing our time. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, Salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, says, Al-alimu bi zamanihi la tahjum alayhi al-lawabis. Whoever knows his time, if you an alim of your time, alim means, here it is not referring to being an alim in the religious sense, being if you know what time you are living in. Apne zamane ka ilm ho aapko. Al-alim bi zamanihi la tahjum alayhi al-lawabis. Then confusions and doubts do not overpower them. So knowing the time, knowing which time you're living in, And a simple example, all of you must have heard this again and again. We all know that if the conditions are such that existed at the time of Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wassalam, then your duty is to resist with peace and sulh. You need to have a different strategy in those times, and if the time is that of his brother, then the strategy is different. So all of us know that. All of the ulama would know that. If you talk to scholars, they all know that if it is the time of the second imam, you take this route. And if it is the time of the third imam and the time of Yazid, this is the route you need to take. But the time that I am living in, is this the time of the second imam or the time of the third imam? That identification needs basira. When the second imam left this world, and Muawiyah was still alive, for 10 years, Imam Hussain lived under the rule of Muawiyah. 10 years. He did not rise up against him. There were letters coming in from Kufa at that time, calling the Imam, we are ready. It's time to pick the fruits. We are ready. We don't go to the masjid. We don't support the ruler. Come and we are there, ready to help. But the Imam did not respond to them. He responded but did not accept their call. He said, this is not the time to rise. Cling on to the earth. Do not move. Do not expose yourself. Do not get identified. Wait till the right time comes and I will inform you when that time is. Al-alimu bi zamanehi, knowing your time, knowing your zamana, will help you know how to do the tarbiyat of your children. If you do not know what time it is, there's another famous hadith attributed to Amirul Mu'minin which says that do the tarbiyat of your children based on the dictates of the time that you live in, not on the dictates of the time that you were in when you were a youth or when you were a child. Times change, and knowing the time will grant you the basira to know how to steer and maneuver through the confusion and doubt that arises. And also knowing time itself. What does time does to people? Again, Amirul Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib, Salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, says, in our majalis you will see a lot of references to Amirul Mu'minin. It is because he is the student of the Holy Prophet, and whatever he has learned is from the Holy Prophet. He himself says that the Holy Prophet taught me 1,000 branches of ilm, and from every branch I decoded 1,000 more branches. So that is why you see a lot of reference to Amirul Mu'minin. In no way means that the Amirul Mu'minin is higher than the Holy Prophet. A mention of the student of the Holy Prophet is in fact a mention of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. He says, Ad-dahru yawman, time is 2 days. Yawmun laka wa yawmun alaik, a day for you and a day against you. एक दिन आपके लिए, जिंदगी 2 दिन की है, एक दिन आपके फेवर में है. One day is in your favor, things, circumstances are favorable, and the other day or another segment of your life, things are against you. If you have the basira, you can identify that. और इम्तिहान की आजमाइश दोनों में है. We are being tested in the state of favorable circumstances. Do we do shukr? And in the time of difficulty, do we do sabr? Sometimes Allah tests you by giving you children, and sometimes He tests us by depriving us of children. You'll have couples who are childless. That is a test for them. And those who have children, they are also being tested. They are also being tested. So basira, with basira, you will know whether this time is in your favor or it is against you. With basira, you will know and be able to identify the sunnahs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once you know the sunnahs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those eternal principles that do not change over time. We had a whole 10-day lecture series in one of the Muharrams on imtihan and sunnahs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where Allah says, "Lan tajida li sunnatillahi tabdila." There was a question that was asked yesterday, that we see that Imam Hussain gave everything in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why did Allah not protect the Imam, while the Imam loved Allah so much? We have examples in the past when Abraham brought the elephant to demolish the Holy Kaaba. God interfered by sending those birds with pebbles and stones in their beaks. They destroyed the caravan and the army of Abraham. Could Allah not have sent another army was able to save the Holy Prophet? If Allah wanted, He could have saved Imam Hussain. Why did He not save the Imam? A very good question, and a thought-provoking one. Had Allah wished, He could have saved the Imam. But He chose not to. Why? Has the sunnah of Allah changed? No, it has not changed. There is consistency in the sunnah of Allah in all of these three events. What is most important for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that the humans, because they were sent in this dunya to fulfill the purpose of their creation, which is reaching towards Allah by following Sharia and following the teachings of Islam and religion. That is why the Holy Prophet was sent to deliver the teachings and message of Allah. That is of prime importance. That is why this dunya was created. That is why me and you are created, to follow the footsteps of the Holy Prophet, the teachings of Allah, so that we can get closer to Him. That is of prime importance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Hussain, because he loved him, Islam would have been lost. And Imam Hussain also knew that, and Allah also knew that. So it was important that they both save Islam so that the religion of Allah continues. So Imam gave up everything gave up everything for the sake of Allah to save Islam, and Allah knowing everything, let it happen, because again, Islam was important. And Imam Hussain, being the divine guardian of religion, had this responsibility to give up everything for the sake of Islam. So there is no inconsistency here. Whenever Allah will always interfere to save and protect the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, one after the other, the Imams left this world till the only living Imam is alive. And if his life is in danger because the Ummah is not ready to help him, Allah will again interfere and hide him from the basarat of the people. Allah will hide the Imam from the eyes of the people so that he cannot be hurt. For if he is hurt, then the divine plan of restoring religion to its original form will not be fulfilled. So all of what is happening, there's a single theme here: the protection and preservation of religion. That is what the Imams laid their lives for. That is why Karbala happened. In Karbala, there's a statement where the Imam says to the arrows and the spears and the swords that if the only way in which the religion of Allah will be saved is that you all come and attack me, you all come and kill me and tear me into pieces, then come and tear me apart. For the religion of Allah be saved. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So what Imam had done in Karbala, it was not a normal battle where evil and haqq were face to face. It was not a normal situation where Haqq and Batil were facing each other. You will have so many other battles in history. What makes Karbala special is that on one side you have the divine representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have the Imam of the time, the divinely appointed Imam. That is the basira we need here to look at Karbala. Do not look at Karbala as a general battle between good and evil. In general battles, if good submits to the evil, Islam is not in danger. Islam will not be in danger if the good submits to the evil in normal battles. We have a lot of battles where eventually the good people were forced to submit and they did bay'ah. Let me explain this with a more clear example. If in any time where a prophet is present, you have fake prophets, would the presence of a fake prophet hurt the true prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Would the religion of Allah be compromised if a fake prophet was present? No. But if fake prophet and the true prophet were on a head-on collision course, and the true prophet of Allah submitted and did the bay'ah to the fake prophet, what would happen to the religion of Allah? What would happen to the religion of Allah? The religion of Allah would be over. Not only the religion, the wisdom of Allah, the knowledge of Allah, everything will be under question. If God does not know whom to choose to be His prophet, what kind of a God is He? If He chooses and sends somebody who in difficult times submitted out of fear of his own life, he submitted to a fake prophet, this person did not deserve to be prophet of Allah. And Allah having the ilm-e-ghaib, why did He choose this person to be the prophet of Allah? This would mean that the divine institution of Tawheed would be challenged and diminished forever. Forever. Similarly, if the divine representative of Allah, an Imam, was to submit to Yazid, one who considers himself to be the divinely appointed guide by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the defender of the religion of Allah, if he submitted to Yazid, not only he would get rid of his or diminish or kill his own authenticity, the institution of imamat would be gone. And because the Holy Prophet appointed them as the Imam, the institution of Nabuwa will be gone. And because Nabi was appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the institution of Tawheed would be gone. Nothing of religion would be left. Al-Hussainu minni wa ana min al-Hussain refers to this reality. If Islam is alive today, it is because of Hussain. For had Hussain submitted to Yazid, it would be all over. That is why Imam said, Misli la yubaya'u mislah. The likes of me will never do the bay'ah of the likes of Yazid. If Habib ibn Muzahir would go and do the bay'ah of Yazid, Islam is not in danger. If Muslim bin Awsaja, they would never do that. But even had they gone and did bay'ah of Yazid, Islam is not in danger. But if Imam Hussain would have done that, everything would be over. That is why that is the sacrifice that Imam Hussain made. This is what gives this, that makes this sacrifice so special, that even after 1400 and more years, it is still alive and spreading and gaining momentum with every passing year. You'll not find any other movement. All other movements are gradually eroding with time. Revolutions that took place 2000 years ago, most of them people don't even know their names, and their effects are diminishing with time. But this sacrifice of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam, its effects are increasing with time.
Labbaika ya Hussain.
Labbaika ya Hussain. Ya Hussain. salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. So what the Imam did, he saved for humanity the path towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what he did. And once humanity wakes up to this reality, once humanity has the necessary basira to see this reality, तो हर कौम पुकारेगी हमारे हैं Hussain. Once and whoever said this Shair had that basira. He knew what Imam Hussain had done. The sacrifice was not a sacrifice just between evil and goodness, between haq and batil. It was batil facing the divine representative of Allah. And when Imam says misli la yubaya misla, this is a general statement that the divine representative of Allah will never ever do the bay'ah of anyone else, be it prior to Imam Hussain or later than Imam Hussain. So when it comes to Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam, when it comes to Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam, we are not ready to accept that he did bay'ah to anyone. Because his bay'ah, he being the divine representative, his bay'ah would mean the end of imamat, nabuwat and tawheed. That is what the Imam had done. That is the basira he had. He knew he had to take this path. His father had this basira as well. When you have that basira, you would then see things in their true reality, in their true form. It is said that at one moment a person knocks at the door of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. Salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. He opens the door, and this is Imam narrating himself in Nahjul Balagha, wherein he mentions that story of his brother inviting him for dinner and requesting him to increase his salary from the Baytul Mal. And what did the Imam do? The Imam took a piece of burning hot coal and tried to bring it closer to his brother. And he was afraid of the heat of that worldly fire. And the Imam said to him, what you are requesting me is to give you a piece of the hellfire. And after that the Imam says, Ajabu min zalik, even more strange than that is when a person knocked at my door. And I went to open the door and I saw that person carrying a tray, and in that was confectionery item, ma'ajoon, mithai, whatever, with a packet. The Imam was the caliph at that time, he was the judge at that time. And Imam said he brought to me a confectionery item and a packet, and it felt to me that this ma'ajoon, this confectionery item was kneaded with the venom of a snake. That is what he saw it to be, the reality of that item that he had brought him. Kneaded with the gunda gaya tha saamp ke zehar se. The Imam turned to him and he said, Asilatun am zakatun am sadaqatun, is this the gift of kinship or sadaqah or zakat? For sadaqah and zakat are haram on us. And there is no kinship ties between the two of us. He said, it's neither this nor that, rather this is hadiyah, this is gift. The Imam turned to him and said, have you come to deceive me through my religion? क्या दीन के रास्ते से मुझे बहकाने आए हो? He saw the reality of what it was, and he had the basira that sometimes shaitan deceives us through religion. Inshallah, tomorrow is the final day and we'll talk about this more. How shaitan deceives us through religion. And for all of us who claim to be religious people, we need to be careful lest we be deceived through religion. Shaitan is not going to deceive you by inviting you to the bar or casino or to kill somebody. No. Or take bribe. No. He will deceive you through your religion. By changing terminologies, you would think you are doing an act of devotion, whereas that would be an act of devotion to your own desires. Making your desires your God is what kills your basira. The Holy Quran says, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Have you seen that person, addressing the Holy Prophet, have you seen that person who makes his Lord his desires? Who takes his desires as his Lord, as his God? How can one do that? Yes, you would be worshipping, you would be putting your head, prostrating to Allah physically. Somebody would look at you and you are prostrating 5 times a day, praying 5 times a day. But when it comes to making daily decisions, you are a slave of your desires. You are a slave of your culture. You are a slave of what others would say. You are a slave of your fame and wealth and power and authority. This is when you make your desires your God. Afaman Ara'aita, have you seen man ittakhadha ilahahu hawa? Have you seen the person who has taken his desires as his Lord? Wa azallahu Allahu ala ilmin. Allah has deviated him out of ilm and knowledge. That this person is not going to return to the straight path and true path. He does not deserve to be guided. So what Allah does, Allah lets him go astray. Wa khatama ala sam'ihi, and Allah seals his ears, wa qalbihi, and his heart. Wa ja'ala ala basarihi ghishawa, and Allah puts a covering on his eyes. Uski aankhon ke aage parda pad jata hai. And then Allah says, فَمَنْ يَهْدِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ اللَّهِ. Who is there to guide him after Allah? When Allah has done this to him, he will not receive guidance. Because he himself chose to be blinded, and his heart to be sealed, and his ears to be sealed. Why? Because he took his desires to be his God. These are the realities that are at play in Karbala. Just like the incident that we are seeing today, what is happening, it opens up our eyes. It shows us how people who embody the teachings of Islam can stand up against oppression and injustice. We need these examples. All of the teachings of Islam are personified in the Battle of Karbala. We see each and every principle, each and every sunnah in action in Karbala. That is why we say Karbala is a darsgah, Karbala is a university. It has everything. How to deal with friends, how to deal with enemies, how to deal with children, how to deal with women, how to fight a battle, how to obey your Imam, how to be muti to your Imam. You see all of that in Karbala. The person we are going to commemorate today is one such personality who is full of basira. Full of basira, full of ita'at and obedience to the Imam. It is strange. During this whole journey of Imam from Medina to Karbala, from Mecca to Medina, and from Medina to Karbala, you will see a lot of people who came to the Imam with advices, giving him suggestions. Do this, don't take women, take a different route. If you want to go towards Yemen, do the bayat of Yazid. Different people giving different advices. Not a single moment, not a single time you find Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam giving a single advice to the Imam. Not a single advice. Because he is my Imam. His basira is at a higher level than mine. Who am I to give him advice? It is for him to command and for me to obey. For him to command and for me to obey. That is why not a single time he would offer his advice. He's always ready to fulfill whatever his Imam commands. He was the first one on the night of Ashur to express his loyalty to the Imam. Always there, he was the backbone of the Imam. And in Maqtal, he is the only one for which you find this statement. There are maybe others, but more highlighted is this statement when the Imam went to his janazah, it is said, فَبَكَى الْإِمَامِ بُكَاءً شَدِيدًا. इमाम बहुत शिद्दत से रोए हैं, बहुत शिद्दत से रोए हैं जब जनाब अब्बास की शहादत हुई है. ये जुमला अल-आन इनकसर अज़-ज़हरी, now my back has been shattered. It is for जनाब Abbas alayhi salam. On the day of Ashur, there was a time when all of the companions, all of Bani Hashim had offered their lives. The Imam is now all alone, but Abbas is with him. His back is not broken. A time comes when he sees Ali, Janabi Abbas standing in front of him. Imam looks at him, Janabi Abbas says, do you give me the permission to go to the battlefield? قَدْ ذَاقَ صَدْرِي مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. मेरा दिल इस दुनिया से उचाट हो गया है. I'm tired of this dunya. Permit me to go and avenge the death of our loved ones from these munafiqeen. The Imam responded, you are the flag bearer of my army. How can I let you go? If you go, my army will be dispersed. As the Abbas responded, but Imam, where is that army? There is no army left. The Imam turned back to him and said, if you want to go, then go and arrange for some water for these little children. इन बच्चियों के लिए पानी का इंतजाम कर दो. Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam goes to the battlefield. He delivers a sermon to the Ashqiya, admonishing them, telling them who Imam Hussain was and what their actions would do to their hereafter. There was no response. No positive response from the enemy. The Imam returned back to inform the Imam of what has transpired. This is what I said and this is what they responded. This is what I said and this is the response that I got. As this communication was going on, he heard the sounds of Al-Atash, Payas, thirst. Children were crying out of thirst for water. Abbas ﷺ could not take that any longer. He takes the water bag from the tent that had a collection of water bags. And all of the children out of thirst, they were roaming around those water tents. Those tents which held the water bag. That was the most humid portion of Karbala in that area. Because the water bags were present there. There was some humidity, but there was no water. The Imam took the water bag and he headed towards the Nahr Furat, tearing the enemy ranks, fighting whoever came in his way to oppose him. He had a mission to fulfill, taking water back to Sakina, taking water back to Abdullah ibn Hassan, taking water back to the children who are desperately waiting for water, knowing that their uncle has gone to the battlefield to get some water. River Euphrates was guarded by 4,000 soldiers. When the lion of Ali charged at them, they all dispersed like the sheep disperses when a wolf attacks them. They all left their ranks, their positions, and Janab Abbas enters the river Nile. Nahr Furat mein dakhil ho jate hain. He and his horse both are in charge of river Euphrates, and the enemy watching at a distance, not able to do anything to stop him. This was the lion of Ali. This is how he conquered the river Euphrates. He takes water in his hands, lifts it, looks at it, and then throws it back in the river Euphrates. Some of the writers have said, Zakara Atash al-Hussain. Abbas remembered the thirst of Hussain. But I would like to say, Abbas never forgot the thirst of Hussain. He never forgot that looking at water would remind him of the thirst of Hussain or of Sakina. No. He wanted to let the enemies know the level of his basira. The verses that he recited, he says, Ya nafso, addressing to his soul, he says, Ya nafso min badil Hussain huni. Oh my soul, after Hussain, there is humiliation. Hussain ke baad khari aur zillat hai. وَبَعْدَهُ لَا كُنْتِ أَن تَكُونِي. कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि हुसैन जिंदा ना हो और तू जिंदा रह जाए. It should not happen that Hussain is no more and you are still alive. And then he points to Hussain saying, Haza Husainun waridul manuni. This is Hussain about to drink from the fountain of death. وَتَشْرَبِينَ بَارَدَ الْمَعِينِ. And you are here in this cold water, ready, flowing water in front of you. Will you drink? Hayhat ma haza fi'alu dini. No, no. This is not what my religion tells me. This is not what a person of conviction does. That is, Imam is thirsty and he drinks water. No, this is not going to happen. This is the basira. This is the ata. This is the station of Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. He fills the water bag with water. He's hoping he will be able to take this back to the camps. He starts to go back. When he attacked, when he came to the battlefield, he tore the enemy ranks. He went directly towards and for the river Euphrates. Now when he has to come back, he's taking a different route. He has to protect the water bag for Sakina. He has to protect the water bag for the children. And the enemy tried their best to stop Abbas from taking the water bag back to the camps. But they were not able to stop him. They retorted to deception. They hid themselves behind some of the palm trees. And as Janabi Abbas passed by one of the palm trees, one of the enemy soldiers immediately showed up and he chopped off the right hand of Janabi Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. The right hand of Janabi Abbas is chopped off. He informs his Imam of what has happened. He says, Wallahi in qata'tum yamini. By Allah, even if you chop my right hand, inni uhami abadan an dini wa an imamin sadiqil yaqini. Even if you cut off my right hand, I am still going to protect my religion and my truthful Imam. Chopping off my hand will make no difference. He immediately moved this water bag to his left arm and starts to protect him, and he gallops towards the tents, hoping that water will reach the tents. After a few moments, another army soldier shows up from another tree in front, jumps in front of him and chops off his left arm as well. Now a warrior with no hands left, he cannot fight. But the mission of Hazrat Abbas is not to fight, is to take the water battle back to the camps. So he grabs the water bag with his teeth and he shelters it with his heart and his body and covers the water bag, and he announces to the Imam, both hands are off. Generally a soul would be afraid at this time, but he addresses his soul, consoles his soul saying, Ya nafsu la takhsha min al-kuffar. Oh my soul, do not fear the enemy. Wa abshiri bi rahmatil jabbar. I give you the glad tidings of the rahmah of Jabbar. You will be with Sayyid al-Mukhtar. He announces to the Imam that his right and left, both of his hands have been chopped off. He hides and the skin, the water bag with his own body, and the horse is galloping towards the tents of Imam Hussain. The enemy, desperate, trying to stop the water from reaching the camps, they all showered arrows at Janabi Abbas. His back was covered with arrows. But he is still holding on to the water bag. He is holding on and wants the water to get to the camps. Till an arrow comes and pierces the water bag, and all of the water is spilled in front of the eyes of Janabi Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. All of his hope is lost. Should he go back to the battlefield to get more water? He cannot go back to the battlefield. There are no arms left. He has no arms. How would he get to the battlefield? And even if he goes to the battlefield, how is he going to fill the water bag? There is no way back. Can he go back to the camps of the Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam? He cannot even go to the camp of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, because there is no water left in the water bag for Sakina. As he was standing there, not knowing knowing which way to go. Another arrow comes and pierces his heart, and blood begins to trickle from his heart. What should Hazrat Abbas do now? मुझे नहीं मालूम कौन सा तीर ज़्यादा तकलीफ दे था, वो जो खैमे में जो उस मशकीज़े में लगा, या वो तीर जो जनाब अब्बास के दिल में लगा. I'm sure the arrow that pierced the water bag was more painful for Hazrat Abbas than the arrow that pierced his heart, because his mission was aborted because of the arrow that pierced the water bag. Water has been flown, there is no water left, had spilled on the plains of Karbala, not knowing what to do. Another arrow comes and hits his eyes, and an arrow in his heart, an arrow in his eyes. Another person comes forward holding an iron rod, and he hits Hazrat Abbas on his head. Hazrat Abbas falls to the ground. Now imagine when a warrior falls to the ground, he uses his hands to take support, but Hazrat Abbas has no hands. He comes to the ground, he falls to the ground saying, Ya Akhi, Ya Sayyidi, oh my brother, oh my Imam. Hazrat Abbas, Hazrat Hussain ﷺ rushes to his brother Janab Abbas ﷺ, holds him in his lap, looks at him. Hazrat Abbas says, I have a last request. There is blood in one of my eyes, there is arrow in my other eye. I want to do your ziyarah before leaving this dunya. Is it okay, is it possible for you to wipe off the blood from one of my eyes so that I can look at you? This is the position, this is the time where Imam cried over and cried severely over the shahadat of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. This is the time where he says, Alan in kasara zahri. This is the time where my back has been broken. This is the time for which this shair, this poet has said in a verse, he said that the person ahaqqun nas an yubka alayh, वो शख्स के जो सबसे ज़्यादा सज़ावार है कि जिसके ऊपर रोया जाए, फतन अब कल हुसैन बे करबला, वो जवान है जिसकी वजह से हुसैन करबला में बहुत रोए हैं. The person who deserves to be wept over and cried over is the person because of which Imam Hussain cried on the day of Ashura. और ये जो कहा जाता है कि इमाम को हज़रत हुसैन अब्बास अलैहिस्सलाम never called his brother as my brother. He would always call him, oh my Imam, Ya Sayyidi, Ya Imami. But when he fell to the ground, he called the Imam saying, Ya Akhi, oh my brother. Why did he call him my brother in the final moments of his life? One of the scholars was trying to interpret this and explain this in this manner, that generally when a warrior falls to the ground, he uses his hands to support himself. But because Abbas had no hands to support, there was Lady Zahra who was waiting for Janab Abbas. Lady Zahra would have said, oh Abbas, oh my son, I am here to receive you. When Lady Zahra said, my son Abbas, when Lady Zahra accepted Abbas to be his son, out of that connection, he then turned to the Imam and said, oh my Imam, oh my brother. Ala lanatullahi ala al-qawm al-zalimeen. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept what was being said in His way, inshallah, and to enlighten us with basira. Let us all send our salams to the Imam. In that state, all of his companions gone. He's now all alone. As-salamu ala al-Hussain wa ala Ali ibn al-Hussain wa ala awlad al-Hussain wa ala ashab al-Hussain. Mata bi Hussain. You set the pitch.
Qamar Bani Hashim Abbas, shelter of Zainab Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. Qamar Bani Hashim Abbas, shelter of Zainab Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. Qamar Bani Hashim Abbas, shelter of Zainab Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. Pride of Amir-ul-Mu'mineen, Lion of Al-Banin. Pride of Amir-ul-Mu'mineen, Lion of Al-Banin, Lion of Al-Banin. Who can be brave as you, Mawla? Who can be brave as you, Mawla? Who can your loyalty surpass? Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. Qamar Bani Hashim Abbas, shelter of Zainab Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. You are the Ghazi of Al-Qamar, the ultimate Sultan of Wafa. You are the Ghazi of Al-Qamar, the ultimate Sultan of Wafa, the ultimate Sultan of Wafa. You are the Qamar Bani Hashim, you are the Qamar Bani Hashim. Who can match your strength and class? Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. Qamar Bani Hashim Abbas, shelter of Zainab Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. No scholar in history could fathom your mystery. No scholar in history could fathom your mystery, could fathom your mystery. Firm as iron, soft as snow, firm as iron, soft as snow. Sher jari kalbe hassas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. Qamar Bani Hashim Abbas, shelter of Zainab Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. One Abbas-e Karbala versus all of Ashkiya. One Abbas-e Karbala versus all of Ashkiya, versus all of Ashkiya. Kujahi of Imam-e-Zama, Kujahi of Imam-e-Zama, Kuja the Shar of Jinn wa Nas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Qamar Bani Hashim Abbas, shelter of Zainab Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. Said Abbas unto Hussain, with you Mawla till the end. Said Abbas unto Hussain, with you Mawla till the end. With you Mawla till the end. In this Laylatul Ashura, in this Laylatul Ashura, Aka, your haq is clear as glass. Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Qamar Bani Hashim Abbas, shelter of Zainab Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas. Sham-e-Ghariba in Karbala, helpless orphans Ashkiya. Sham-e-Ghariba in Karbala, helpless orphans Ashkiya, helpless orphans Ashkiya. Where are you, Ammu Ghazi? Where are you, Ammu Ghazi? Cry Sakina Hai Pyas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Qamar Bani Hashim Abbas, shelter of Zainab Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, oh Ya Abbas.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Mu'mineen, we will have a short question answer session. Please do stay for that if you can. And I will now turn it over to Maulana. If you want to put any question through Slido, the code is given here, Muharram 2026. But we can also take questions from the audience.
This one very important question online, so I'd like to start with that. How can we balance deen and dunya, especially with family responsibilities? Listening to your majalis makes me want to leave worldly obligations. That's not a good sign. And that's scary as well. If my majalis are making you want to leave worldly obligations, then the message has not been very clear. Deen and dunya are not two separate sections where you need to balance deen and dunya. You need 12 hours for your deen and 12 hours for your dunya. No, that is not the case. Deen encompasses and covers 24 hours of your life. There is no part of the day that should be void of your deen. And it is through your dunya that you're going to earn your hereafter. So you cannot earn your hereafter if you leave this dunya. So keep that in mind. Do not partition your day into this time is for dunya and this time is for deen. Rather, your 24 hours, all of it should be for deen. Now this confusion generally arises from the understanding that religion is limited to rituals. No. Religion is not a name for rituals. Religion is a way of life. It is a way of life. The profession you take, the way you work, the way you earn, the way you dress, the friends that you make, the enemies that you make, the stances that you take, everything, if it is done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then for somebody who has zahiri eyes would think you're doing it for worldly causes, but those who have basira will know that because everything is driven and motivated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of it is counted as deen. So do not partition your activities into this is worldly activities and this is deen activity of the deen. Rather, make every activity of, even if you're working, you're earning, if the intention is that this is a responsibility that Allah has put on my shoulders to provide for my family, then that is an act of worship. That is an act of deen, not an act of dunya. Yes.
My question is that earlier today in the Masjid you said that Imam Hussain asked Moulana Abbas to go get water for the children, but I've heard it many times that Moulana Abbas asked for permission from Imam Hussain to go get water, but he didn't allow until Moulana Abbas brought Bibi Selina, and then he allowed. So basically I'm confused if Imam Hussain asked Moulana Abbas himself to go get water, or if Moulana Abbas asked for permission to go get water.
The tradition that I have read is when he came to take permission, the Imam said, if you want to go, then go get water for the children. Go and arrange for water for these children. There are a lot of what has happened that has not come in the books of history. What has been recorded is very limited. So there might be other details that have not reached us, and there might be different instances where Imam might have come to take permission. So it is possible that both of that might have happened. It is possible. But the section that I have read, and from the book that I have read, it mentions this part. Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, so before you get to my question, we doubt why I want to ask that question. So basically, it's been 3 years. I have been converted to Shiaism. Like I'm new to this sect. Like I'm from my background. I'm from a Sunni household, and I'm the only Shia in my family. So I just want to know like how to connect with Imam Hussain. Like what are our responsibilities to connect with him, to know more about him?
This is a question that applies to all of us, not just new converts, but even those who are born in this family and have taken religion for granted. We have a responsibility to connect to our Imam. And the best way is to know about our Imam and the objectives and the purpose of our creation, why we were created and what position the Imam holds in the reality in the bigger scheme of things. So knowledge, do not limit yourselves to just majalis, number one. Number two, read the history of the Imams, look at the challenges they faced, what their goals and objectives in life were, what is it that they want from us. And once we know that, we will get closer to the Imam, once you align yourself with the objectives of the Imam. So when it comes to the Hujjat of our time, see what is the objective of the Hujjah when he returns and what is it that he's going to accomplish, and try to align yourself with those goals. And the more you align with him, the more you will get closer to him. And it is possible that out of that alignment of yours to him, he shows himself and reveals himself to you. He reveals himself to those who align themselves with his goals, even though he might be invisible to others. So for the community to benefit from his presence, the community as a whole need to align themselves with the objectives of the Imam. For individuals to see the Imam, they need to individually align themselves with the Imam. Okay. Wa alaikum assalam.
My question is on the
okay, next down. Yes.
on the sequencing of people that went to battle. So my question is, in terms of the sequencing, who went to battle first? Was it Moulana Syed or Moulana Abbas? And the reason why I ask the question is because you're obviously hearing on the side, especially in Egypt, that if that Moulana Syed would on that basis was why one of the musibas that he obviously had to go the body of his because it was so my question is, who basically went to fight first? Was it Moulana Syed or Ali Palestine?
Again, the the book of history and the research that I am following, according to Ali Akbar Islam was the first to go to the battlefield, and Hazrat Abbas being the flag bearer naturally would have been the last to go to the battlefield. But again, this order is not too relevant here in the whole story and message of Karbala. Sometimes we lose track of the message by focusing on these little things. What really matters is that all of them sacrificed themselves. He went first, or the other person went first. There is wisdom in the order, definitely. Imam was the one who had planned how things would uncover for maximum benefits and maximum outcome and effect. We might be able to understand some of the effects, and we might not be able to understand some of the effects. So who went first, it's good to know from an academic detail or from a historical perspective, but the real point, what matters is that they all sacrificed themselves, and they all were eager to sacrifice themselves.
My question is that it is known in Islam that the full dunya was made in 6 days. My question is, why 6 days? Isn't 6 days too long, too limited?
6 days does not necessarily mean the 6 days of this dunya. It might refer to 6 stages or 6 phases. So because this dunya is a dunya of matter, matter has to undergo different changes for life to be possible in this dunya. So when Allah is saying Allah made the earth in 6 days and the skies in 6 days, it refers to 6 different phases. And there must be wisdom behind it, why 6 days. And this is where Muslim scholars and Muslim scientists need to dig out what is the philosophy behind, what are these 6 stages. And the more they dig out, they will be able to get closer to reality and understand this creation in itself. So when I said the Quran has within itself knowledge and clues for people who are looking for truth to research, this is one of the places where they can do this research. Western scientists are researching about the beginnings of and origins of the universe. Why aren't we doing that? The Quran has given us indications and hints on where to look and how to build our thesis on. So inshallah, one day you will be there where you will have the necessary knowledge and tools to do that research. Inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam.
My question pertains to, I'm wanting to ask a question connecting the conversations that we've been having during this Ashura to the day of Ashura, that is the day later. For a lot of the people in my generation, including myself, sometimes it's difficult to find the right mindset to be able to grieve, to be able to shed tears, especially when it's such a high energy moment like the day of Ashura. So what steps or what mindset can we sort of use to be able to grieve properly the way that the day of Ashura deserves, using the seerah or the tools that we've been talking about in this session?
Answering quickly and very briefly, pick the right friends and right company. You can't do that in these 10 days. It has to start way sooner. So if you have the right mindset around you, you will not be asking this question. So have the right people amongst you, have the right kinds of books with you. Sometimes you don't need people. On the day of Ashura, you don't need people, or you don't even need a majlis to cry. Just thinking about what happened in Karbala and knowing and reading from a book sometimes is enough to cry and connect with the Imam. So if you have the right friends, if you have the right people, if you have the right scholars to go to, the right setting to go to, that will help. So you need to find them. If not, create them, inshallah. One last question and we'll stop there, and it's an important question. It says, for the enemies of God who are the sons of the Imams, shouldn't the Imams be held accountable, like Jafar al-Kazzab? So when a child of the Imam or the child of the Prophet, Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam, for example, goes astray, is the Prophet Nuh to blame? No. Parents are not to be blamed for their children going astray if the parents had done their duty to do the proper tarbiyah of their children. So, it is possible that you take all the necessary steps and do the right tarbiyah of your children, yet because Allah has blessed them with free will, they make the wrong choices and they end up in hell. Allah is not going to punish the parents for that because they have done their due diligence and their due duty. If the parents were ignorant and they did not equip their children with Quranic knowledge and with the knowledge of the religion, and they wanted their children to go after the dunya and make as much money as possible, and they were party to this misconduct that they had done on their part, then yes, the children would be responsible as well, because after all, they still had the free will to make the right choices and not do what their parents were telling them to do. And on the other side, the parents also contributed to what they have done. In those cases, both will be responsible. But if the parents do their due diligence and fulfill their due responsibility, still it is possible that the children might go astray. And in that case, the parents would be hurt. Prophet Nuh was hurt. The Imams were hurt. But they will not be held accountable for the misconduct of their children. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.